Good afternoon. My name is Peg Bodin, and I'm the Assistant Director of IT Audit for the Washington State Auditor's Office. Today I'm going to share with you our financial intelligence tool, which makes excellent use of data visualizations. Imagine yourself as a member of the public or an official wanting to know more about local governments in Washington. We can do this. In Washington, we have a lot of data, and there are a variety of ways to look at it. This is a pretty standard analysis. If you had the time and are one of those people that love to look at data and you dug in, you could discern some issues related to this city. But how many high-level officials of the government, the legislature, or public are really going to take the time to dig in and explore this detail and make decisions from it? Now, don't get me wrong, it's really good, useful information. However, if an official or public member saw this analysis, does it trigger a more focused opinion and potential action? You bet, and very quickly. Note that this analysis doesn't include the numbers from the previous analytic, but still tells a very clear story using the same underlying data. So clearly, both analyses include information that would be highly useful to someone, but data isn't everyone's language, and FIT can be a great translator. Both examples were pulled from our financial intelligence tool known as FIT. FIT is a public-facing application that is used by our local governments, the legislature, general public, auditors in our office, as well as data analyst power users. I've included a QR code if you'd like to try it out for yourself. The application has been optimized for phones. FIT was introduced in 2018, and its purpose is to provide an easy-to-access, easy-to-understand way of exploring the financial landscape of local governments in Washington. It includes 11 years of financial data on nearly all of the state's 2,200 local governments. That includes cities, counties, fire districts, school districts, and many more. The data in FIT is based on legally required reports that all local governments in Washington state submit. The level of data is similar to a detailed general ledger trial balance. This complete and extensive data gives us a great advantage in supporting the development of this tool. The process to receive the data is fully automated, which means there's almost no 10 keying or data extracts, and there's no issues with governments using different descriptive labels. The simple data graphics of FIT help many interested parties to understand the financial information, and they don't have to have an accounting degree. The active interface allows a user to view the information in a highly summarized form and to drill to specific local governments to help meet their needs. In this slide, I'm showing two sets of the financial health indicators for the city. There's similar analyses for other fund types associated with the city, but I thought these two were enough for today's purpose. I wanted to tell you about the financial health indicators that we use. The first one is cash balance sufficiency. That's the number of days a fund could operate based solely on the cash and investment balances that it have at the beginning of the year. The second one is a change in cash position. This is a percentage change looking at the cash and investments at the beginning of the year compared to the prior year beginning. The third one is sustainability. This is looking at, are the funds spending in line with the revenue they receive? Are we spending more than we're getting in, or vice versa? The fourth one is debt load. How much of the government's revenues are being used to make debt payments? Here's another graphic specific to the financial health indicators. This one reflects the indicator score plus a risk indicator on a trend basis. By having a combination of color and numerical information, this one helps a user to visually see, are the risks something new, a long-term issue, is it getting worse or better? Note that we are using colors intended to support users with differing levels of color blindness as well. This report also provides a summary of the risk indicators that are used for each fund or fund type. For example, if you look at the water fund, it suggests a rebound in the last year in several of their indicators, even though the cash balance efficiency is still not great. Whereas the general fund and the all government funds show a marked downhill slide for the last 2 years. Another way the financial health indicator can be viewed is specific to each benchmark criteria. This one adds the red dashed line that reflects the benchmark criteria we use to determine whether a financial health indicator is concerning or not. By adding the criteria, the user gets a slightly different perspective. Are they just barely concerning or really concerning? The graphic also gives the user the option to download the supporting indicator report. This report is customized for each and every local government. The report provides brief descriptions to help the user understand, in plain language, what the test is showing, and also provides numeric detail specifying how the indicator was calculated. The University of Washington Evans School made a recommendation that we add an option for a peer benchmark so that we could see how the local government is doing in relation to other local governments of the same type. This is a feature on the report that allows the user to show this comparison. The average for the state is using the tri-mean, the mean, and the median. And in case you're wondering, the tri-mean is a weighted average of the distribution's median and its two quartiles, and that's all I know about tri-means. Here's a high-level summary of one government, but this same report is also available for the entire government type. In other words, it could be one city or it could be all of the cities summarized together. What do you note about this one? What jumps out to me is the revenues dropped significantly for the last 2 years, but expenditures only dropped in the last year, which would suggest to me a lag response to the reduction in revenues. I can also see that their most significant revenues are taxes and charges for services, and their most significant expenditures are utilities and public safety. This analysis has an option to show statewide averages alongside of the selected government's percentages. This particular entity's top two income sources, which were taxes and charges, are consistent with other governments of this type, but their percentages are higher than the state average. Similarly, utilities and public safety are the top two expenditure categories for across the state, but this particular entity is higher than the average. FIT also has a compare button, so users can select multiple jurisdictions and see their activity side by side. In less than 60 seconds, the user has the ability to create a side-by-side comparison of the governments of their choice, which would otherwise take a very long time to put together. In addition to the graphics-based reporting, there is a data extract option on the menu that allows a user to extract a variety of data sets. This feature is particularly designed to address the needs of the data analyst power users. The Center for Government Innovation team provides customized support for this as well as other features of FIT. As an example of a use case that was supported by FIT, there was a legislative debate over 2 years on whether or not to adjust the property tax caps that exist in Washington state law. The counties noted that while their property tax revenue was only slowly increasing year over year due to the cap, it was not covering as much of the expenses like it did in the past, which were increasing at a greater pace. Some legislators were trying to repeal the cap. Using the data underlying the FIT system, it was noted that indeed property tax revenues were not keeping up with expenditures. However, it was noted that sales tax revenue had been greatly increasing, and that was offsetting the slow growth of property tax. In this case, the legislation was defeated, with the analysis being a significant factor. I want to thank you for your time. If you would like to get in touch with us to learn more about the FIT application or to schedule a demo, you can reach out to the center at their email address, which is center@sao.wa.gov.